Hi there, my name is Lo. Welcome to my channel where I discuss everything between Hermès and grocery bags. As we are almost at the end of the year, I thought it would be nice to look forward, and that's why today I'm presenting you 23 bags that are on my radar for 2023. Hi there, this is Lo from the future. As I was editing this video, I realized that it might come across as though I'm getting 23 bags next year. That is absolutely not what I'll be doing. This is just a video about bags that I have on my radar. I might be getting some of these if they come along at the right price. So really just use this video for inspirational purposes if you like the type of styles of bags that I do enjoy. As you can see, I put out a number of bags here on the table. Those are mostly for eye candy and a little bit for reference because the bags I will be discussing today I don't have as of yet, and also in most cases I don't have a variant of those bags as of yet. 23 bags is quite a lot to go through, but let's try and do it efficiently, and more importantly, let's just get started. So the first brand I wanted to talk about is Wandler. I already have a number of bags from Wandler in my collection. So I have the Maggie, I have the Lynn, and I recently added the Penelope, which I still have to show you guys. But I'm really enjoying this brand. I think they're at a reasonable price point, especially because these bags tend to go on sale. So I'm looking to add more of these bags to my collection. First of all, the Hortensia, which is just the very classic, well-known style that they have. I'm looking to add that most likely in the medium size because I think that the mini is just a bit too small, and I think that the large, that would be a very chunky structure type of bag, so most likely also not for me. I'm also looking at the Georgia bag. I think it's beautiful. I really enjoy the detailing it has on the front, but this is something I do still have to consider because flat bags and it's usually not a great combination unless they have like a top handle. I usually don't find them all that interesting, but this Georgia bag I do find very interesting to look at, and I've also seen it a couple of times in real life, so that one's definitely on my radar. And the last one is the Lois. I think the Lois is kind of the bigger sister of the Maggie. I saw it a little while ago. I saw somebody carrying it while I was in Amsterdam, and it just struck me like, wow, actually having this in somewhat of a bigger size, like this is a very sleek bag, very nice to wear crossbody, but really having more of the hobo style of it could also look great. Wandler bags come in a variety of beautiful colors. I'm not going to be too picky about the colors in that sense. They just have to appeal to me, and because Wandler has this smooth type of leather, I'm a bit cautious in terms of getting them in lighter colors because of color transfer. Moving on to Totes. So I've added this Totes destyling bag earlier this year. I'm really liking it. I think Totes is an underappreciated brand, but the upside of undervalued or underappreciated brands is that they tend to go on sale again, so you can get them at a more reasonable price point, because I do feel that the price point for Totes is quite steep. Bags I'm looking at here, first of all, the Totes Gommino bag. I actually was sent a Totes Gommino bag earlier this year while I was trying to order this one, and I did a little review of it. That one I had to return because at the price point I found it to be too expensive, plus I'm not really there for the suede bags, but I'm still keeping my eye open for a leather variant of the Gommino bag, either in the smaller or in the bigger size. I've also really been drawn to the Totes tote bags. So one I found very interesting is the Tote Timeless Tea Tote, and then there's also this other Totes tote bag of which I don't know the name. I cannot really find it, not even on the Totes website. But of course I will insert a picture. And with this tote I can really appreciate how it sort of folds around on itself, gives it this very interesting shape. Again, very low-key bag, just like most of the bags that we'll be discussing today. Staying on the topic of totes, some other totes I'm interested in are the Mulberry Bayswater tote and the Valentino Rockstud Tote. I already have this Saint Laurent East West tote in my collection that you can see sitting there in the back. For me, having that type of tote, it's just super convenient. You toss your stuff in and you leave the house, so really nice for work, but also for other occasions where you have to carry a little bit more. The only downside is that these totes tend to be very open at the top, so I either have to accept that or put things together in like a pouch, for example, to make sure that things stay organized and things stay safe. I suppose it's kind of like having a Louis Vuitton Neverfull. So the Neverfull is not really for me because I don't appreciate the Louis Vuitton monogram all that much, but I really do like the tote style style for the Valentino Rockstud Tote. I really like this subtle line of studs that it has on top. I don't think I could deal with any of the other rock stud or Roman stud bags that Valentino has. I think it's a bit too much for me in terms of the studs on there, but I think for the Rockstud Tote it's fairly subtle, and I'm really waiting just for the most beautiful color to come by. The Mulberry Bayswater Tote is also an interesting one. I think a very classic silhouette. The only thing that it has is the locking mechanism at the top, so I would really have to try that out and see how that looks, because usually also with the Saint Laurent tote I usually don't really go for the closing mechanism, which is a magnet in this case, so it's perfectly fine if you don't close it, but it can end up giving a tote a bit of a weird shape if you pull it together at the center part, but I would have to see how that would work out with the Mulberry Bayswater Tote. Final note on the Valentino Rockstud Tote, only interested there in the bigger version of it, because I think the smaller version that would barely hold a laptop, I think it's not really like tall enough for it to be a very comfortable tote. Moving on to the next brand, which is Polène. I think Polène has these beautiful classic understated bags that are very, well, usually organic but also architectural. They're very understated, so I've been looking for a little while to add something from Polène to my collection. I've been a bit hesitant though, because this is a brand that's so popularized by influencers and YouTubers that I usually feel that people have been overly enthusiastic about this brand because these bags have been gifted to them rather than bought with people's own money. However, at the price point, I think I'd be happy to give it a go for myself and just to see if it's worth the hype. So bags I have on my radar here are the Cyme bag, which is more of a tote bag. That one is definitely one I'd like to have in the bigger size. I think the small size again of this tote is a bit awkward. And another bag from Polène I might be interested in is the Numero D. The Numero 1, I suppose it's called in French, is not so much on my radar. I think it's cute, but it's just not really the style for me, I suppose. But I'm always there for a good tote, so that's why I find the Cyme interesting. And the Numero D, that kind of reminds me of the Loewe Luna bag in terms of silhouette. You're actually not going to find any Loewe bags on my radar at this point in time, because right now I have the bags from Loewe that I really want to have in my collection, and with a number of other bags, like with the Luna bag, I feel like you can get a very similar silhouette at a more reasonable price point. That was Polène, and there you go, we've already mentioned the first 10 bags. Not doing too bad, right? Moving on to the next brand that I wanted to discuss, which is Marc Jacobs. Well, I think Marc Jacobs has been doing an amazing job this year with their tote bag. I can personally really appreciate leather versions of that bag. I'm not really there for canvas or nylon bags all that much when it comes to luxury. You can already see the exception standing on the back over there, but I really enjoy the leather tote bags, and by now I have all of those in my collection. I don't want multiple colors of them, so I think I'm good in that sense. But bags from Marc Jacobs that I've been interested in at this point in time are the J-Marc bag. I want that one specifically in blue. I think that color is just a perfect shade of blue. And again, I'm usually not really there for the flat bag, so I would have to see if that actually works out. But I can appreciate that it has this shorter chain strap, so that one should actually also very easily wear as a over-the-shoulder bag. I'm not really sure how I feel about the crossbody strap, which is very utilitarian, I think it's called. This kind of strap that also goes with the Louis Vuitton multi-pochette accessoire, it's just not really the thing for me, I think, but I would have to try it on. I've only seen it on the internet, but the color is absolutely beautiful. And the other Marc Jacobs bag I'm interested in at this point in time is the Snapshot. Also a very classic crossbody bag. It's very boxy, but boxy in a way I think I can appreciate. This one also I think comes with a similar strap, but I feel it fits the bag more. I know I'm probably not making a lot of sense here, but a lot of things when it comes to handbags don't really make a lot of sense. So it's really more of personal opinion, right? But I think the Snapshot is quite a cool bag, and I'm still just waiting for that one to pop up in the right color combination, because they usually come in this color blocking, so it needs to come up in the right color combination at the right price, and I might add it to my collection. Then kind of the last brand I want to discuss is Hermès. I don't have anything from Hermès as of now. I'm also a bit reluctant to add bags from Hermès, but that really mostly comes to the quota bags. Like, even if I were to come by one for whatever reason, I mean, I could pick one up, like a Kelly or a Birkin on the secondhand market, but I don't think I would feel very comfortable carrying around a bag that is that expensive and also that recognizable. So bags that I do have on my radar from Hermès are, first of all, the Picotin. I think this one comes at a much more reasonable price point, and it would be a way, so to say, for me to dip my toe into the Hermès leathers and see what it is about. I know I could also just buy an SLG, but I'm not very big on spending a lot of money on SLGs, so I would really rather prefer to get a bag. And I think the Picotin, or perhaps the Evelyn, but the Evelyn is not a style that I like, but the Picotin could be a good first step into the realms of Hermès and Hermès leathers. Another bag that I have on my radar is the Lindy, and the Lindy I have on my radar just because I think that is a gorgeous bag. I think the favorite bag that I have in my collection right now is the Loewe hammock bag. I'm usually not all that big on these types of bucket bags. I really just appreciate the folding in shape of the Loewe hammock, and it's often been related to how the Lindy looks. Though the Lindy would be a more secure alternative because it actually does have a zipper, so that is a bag that I could also actually wear over the shoulder or crossbody, which is something I don't do with the Loewe hammock bag because it's just super open and anybody could get into your bag, not just a pickpocket, like everybody could get into your bag. It's really too much. So we'll have to see. I'm not really planning to walk into an Hermès store at this point in time, although perhaps again I just I at least should, but I've been kind of stalking the Hermès websites, trying to see if I can get my hands on Picotin, for example. Of course, the upside with just having a bag sent to your home is that you can unpack it and in your own time, because you will usually have a return period of 2 weeks or perhaps a bit longer. In your own time, you can determine if that is a bag that is it for you. And I'm just kind of scared that if I were to try it out in the boutique, that those couple of minutes of me trying it out and then having to leave the boutique with or without the bag, that would make it kind of hard for me to make a good judgment about whether it's something I want to spend that kind of money on. Ideally, I'll just purchase it online to give myself some time to reconsider. Moving on to the last 9 bags on my list. First of which is the APC Grace bag. I want this bag particularly in the small size or perhaps even one size up, but at least I don't want it in the mini, and I'm looking for a neutral color like a caramel or a tan or a Bordeaux or even black. Reason I got my eye on this bag is because I've been appreciating the Celine box bag for a while, but that is just a bag that, given the leather it's made of, I'm not really willing to spend Celine kind of money on. And I think this bag from APC is just a very good alternative, and honestly I also kind of prefer the closing on this bag a bit more than the one on the Celine box bag. This one does go on sale. Again, I'm just looking for the right color, for the right size, for the right price to come by. Moving on to the Balenciaga Hourglass. I have the Balenciaga Neo City Classic, I think this is called, bag in my collection. This is in the size small. I know that Balenciaga is usually not really a brand in terms of low-key, but when I talk about low-key, it really means that there is no very big branding on bags, but bags can still look pretty interesting. That's usually also why I get them. But I've been really enjoying this Neo City Classic bag, and that's why I'm looking to expand a bit further into Balenciaga and try to get an Hourglass bag. Earlier this year I thought I had bought an Hourglass bag, but I got sent the wrong bag and they weren't willing to exchange it for me. It was most likely just an error that the seller made with their product catalog on their end. But I still have an itch for this Balenciaga Hourglass bag. I also would really prefer to have the biggest size of this bag, preferably in the mock rock in a dark color, because again, with smooth leather I'm usually not happy to go out and pay all that much because I'm just super scared it's going to scratch up, and the Balenciaga Hourglass bag is very structured, So unlike with a softer, floppier bag like this Wandler bag, this is more likely to give in to surfaces. It is scratching up against, if that makes sense. If you have a very structured bag and you rub it against a abrasive surface, it's not going to give way. That's why I'm usually a bit cautious with smooth leathers. There's one bag from Celine that I would be very interested in adding to my collection, and I know it's been kind of out of style for a while now, but it still intrigues me, and that's the Celine Luggage Nano Tote. So I particularly want to have the nano size of this. I think in the black, and again, it needs to be in the grained leather. So Celine, I don't think it really goes on sale. I think it's also mostly excluded for like gets 10-15% first time order off kind of deals. I've tried it out on the 24S website, but the price wouldn't budge, so to say. So this is something that I would really have to just order online, or again try and get in the boutique to see if that is really one that I'd like to add to my collection. The thing obviously is that price increases are abundant across pretty much all brands. Honestly, Wandler has been doing a lot of price increasing as well, so luckily these bags still go on sale, so it's less of an issue. But with a number of these bags, I'm also feeling like if I really want to add them to my collection, I better just do it sooner than later, because they're only going to get more expensive. Also, with a number of bags, I would be very open to just buying them pre-loved. That would also be the case for this Celine Luggage Tote in the nano size, but thus far with the ones that I have seen come by on pre-loved websites, they're not looking all that good. And then like saving $300 on a bag that looks kind of misshaped on the pictures, it doesn't make me feel very excited about getting something pre-loved in that case. Anyway, moving on to the next bag, the Givenchy Antigona Mini. This is one that has been on my radar for a very long time. Initially, I was just interested in any size of this bag, but after watching a lot of reviews, I also kind of figured out that the bigger sizes are usually very heavy, and knowing myself, I think it would be best off just having the mini size. This is also one that I would prefer to have in a grained leather, and most likely in black, although brown shades of this bag have also been very beautiful, but I think really the black is just the most classic, and as you can see, we already have a theme going here with black bags. I'm just more likely to gravitate towards those. Then there's the J.W. Anderson Twister bag. This is one that I'd like to have in the mini or in a bigger. There's also a nano, but it is just too tiny. I'd like to have a size of this bag where I can also really carry it by the top handle and you have quite a substantial bag to wear. I keep on being intrigued by the J.W. Anderson designs, although in a number of cases I just find it too much. For example, with the very excessive chains, a very big chains that he tends to put right now on every bag and every shoe that is going out. But this Twister bag just has a very interesting detail and an interesting shape. The little Liffner tall Tulip tote is also one that I have my eye on. I had ordered a bag from Little Liffner earlier this year. I end up returning that because it was kind of structureless to the point where even I couldn't appreciate it, but I have to say that the quality was very good, so I was quite pleased with that. I've been intrigued with this Tulip tote for quite a while. The only thing I've been wondering about, and that's also why I'm now kind of opting for the tall Tulip tote with the long handles, is kind of in what situation would I actually wear this bag. I'm wondering if it would hold a laptop. If it would, then it could be a pretty awesome work bag, but I just think that the shape is beautiful. This is also one that I think I'd like to get in a mock croc, although for the price point I think I would also be okay having it in a darker smooth leather. Just been intrigued with the shape and I'd really like to try it out in real life. Then we're at the last three bags. So we have the Longchamp Le Piage tote in the XS size. I have a couple of Longchamp Le Piage totes. You can see one over here. This is in a small size. I also have the large size. I think that the XS size of this bag is really cute. It's really adorable. It's also one that you can crossbody. I think it's also big enough, like it has a substantial enough size to where it is a cute top handle. I think main reason I haven't added it just yet is because I find it quite overpriced opposed to the regular totes. Plus, this is also one that I might consider getting in a leather, and I think you're then easily reaching a price point which is like 4 or 5 times the price of a normal Le Pliage tote. So that's why I haven't gotten around to buying one, but I am keeping this one on the radar in case it comes by on the pre-love market, for example, or on sale for a reasonable price, but discounts for Longchamp haven't been amazing. Then there's the MCM Anna bag. This is one that I would really like to get in the size small. I saw this bag come by on an e-commerce website earlier this year and I saw it kind of while I was in the customer journey of buying another bag, so I figured I'll just leave it. But it was actually at a really good price and it sold out, and I've kind of been regretting it ever since. So I'm very peculiar about this bag. I want it in a small size and I want it in the dark blue. I think it's a very cute alternative to having like a Alma BB from Louis Vuitton, and it just has this gorgeous classic silhouette. But now I cannot find it at a reasonable price anymore, and I guess it's also a color that perhaps has gone out of production, so I'm not sure it's going to return. But this bag is definitely on my radar, and I think it's one of those bags that I pretty much run a daily check for, just to make sure I'm not running out on a good deal. And then finally the Tory Burch Fleming bag, but very specifically in the Bouclé. So this is a bit of an odd one for me because I already said I'm not very big on the nylon bags, I'm not very big on the canvas bags, I'm just not really big on fabric bags, and I think that's also withheld me a little bit of buying this bag. But I think just the Bouclé is awesome, and I would be willing to settle for a white bag, but I would particularly like to have it in a grey. But for some reason I feel like this is really catchy and really interesting. It kind of goes against everything I know about myself when it comes to bag. Again, also this is a flat bag, so how likely would I be to wear it? I'm not 100% sure, so there's been quite a lot keeping me from actually buying this bag, but this is one that at the right price I would definitely be happy to add to my collection. So there you have it, 23 bags. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are these also bags that are on your radar? Given my style and the bags that I've mentioned in this video, is there something else I should be on the lookout for? Hope you found this interesting and or entertaining. If you have any questions for me, drop them down below in the comments and I'll get back to you. For now, remember, there's a styling, a situation, and a taste for everything. So don't judge, wear whatever the bag you like. Until next time, have a good end of your year, and as we would say in Dutch, doei!